Hey, welcome in. You're listening to the daily version of the Cornerstone Economics Report. I'm Al Corlin. Appreciate you joining me. This program is being produced exclusively for my friends at Kitco. Speaking of friends, got Brien Lundin with me. Brien is a real veteran of the industry. He's got what, in my opinion, is the best investment conference out there, the New Orleans Investment Conference. He's got a great lineup of speakers, but you guys all know that. Kitco happens to be a part of that conference also, so why belabor the point? All I can say is if you are in New Orleans towards the end of October, specifically the 26th through the 29th, you got to go to the conference, number one, and if you do that, come on by and say hi to Big Al. Brien, we got an interesting situation in the gold market today. Gold right now is basically treading water. It's holding above 1,600 an ounce. It's 1614.60. A lot of people are saying that right now they feel that the strength in the market is focused, or I should say is a result almost exclusively on what's going on in the United States in terms of this budget situation. I think it's much larger than that, but look, what do you think?
I absolutely agree, Al. You know, everybody expects that we're going to have a pullback once there's some agreement on the debt ceiling issue, and in fact, I expect that as well. There's some speculative money. There's a speculative premium built into the price because of this crisis and the impending deadline. But you know, on July 21st, it looked like everything was solved. Looked like an agreement had been reached, and gold lost $16 almost immediately. Well, the next day, it traded back up and regained almost all of that loss very quickly. And that was before word got out that deal had actually fallen through. So I think there's an underlying and an undercurrent of demand for gold right now that's not just U.S.-based. And, you know, it's much broader-based. I think there's a lot of Chinese demand out there that's not that price-sensitive and not that geopolitically connected. So, yes, we will have a pullback when an agreement is reached. And I think the dollar is going to have a bump up on that, but I think it'll be quickly behind us.
You know, I got to tell you, Brien, I think long story short, that the situation is very, very much deeper than just what's going on in the United States. You know, if you look at, I guess I would use the term here, Western world. You look at Europe, you look at North America, the economic conditions are abysmal. Absolutely no question about that. However, if you also, as you said, you know, if you factor in the Far East, you know, if you factor in mainland China, India, etc., there's a huge demand for precious metals over there, and that demand, I would have to agree with you, I think is going to sustain the demand for gold. And I personally think that, you know, with a potential currency crisis on our hands, that we're going to see, you know, anybody who doesn't go to hard assets as part of their portfolio, in my humble opinion, I think they're nuts.
Absolutely. You know, in the West, as you alluded to, it's really an issue of money and debt. There's been just tremendous debt built up. There's tremendous debt on the way, and there's absolutely no way that these economies can address those debt loads without some level of inflation. Yeah. And it's going to have to be a pretty high level of inflation to depreciate that debt away. Now, in the East, it's already an issue of inflation. You have roaring economies growing there. You have a growing standard of living, rising per capita incomes, and all that accompanied by inflation that's, you know, 5 to 7% in China and in India. And right now we're in the slow season for physical demand out of India and many other areas in Asia. And that's going to start heating up. So that level of physical demand is going to start perking up again as we get into September. So what we have now, I think, is we're really in the starting gate for a very large, a very significant run-up in the metals in the fall.
I would agree with that one 100%. Okay, listen, you guys, appreciate you listening today on Kitco, and I also want to suggest Brian's going to be on the weekend radio show. Just go to our website, and you can hear what he and others have to say. Big Al's going to be back with you tomorrow.